2, 3, 4.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Jenks Podcast. It is Super Bowl weekend. I'm your host, John Hammerly.
And I'm Grayson Jenkins.
On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down both teams, San Fran and Kansas City, giving you guys the keys to the game. At the end, a little offseason preview of the show, little coaching news. Dan Quinn hired as the Commanders head coach. Going to be breaking that down for you guys. Let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Jenks and the Hammer Podcast. Bringing you the latest NFL news and insights from the perspectives of two die-hard fans. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some football talk with Jenks and the Hammer.
Here we go.
As always, for our most recent playoff episodes, we're going to break down really quickly our playoff pick'em group. We decided that, hey, let's get the subscribers or people, fans involved. So we sent out a link, had you guys all join. And so breaking down the leaders, as usual, I'm in 35th, and then Hammer is also way down there in, God, where are you, Hammer?
Not that bad. I'm like 19th.
All right, Hammer's 19th.
Yeah,
Way
calm
above
down there. Calm down there, 34.
way above me.
Jeez.
But anyways, number one, Kai from New York. He's number one with 99.3%. But it's looking like that's going to drop with he picked the Ravens to win it all. So if the 49ers or the Chiefs win, I think that'll bump him down a little bit. You got ESPN fans, same situation for him. Then Puma Cat at number 3 has a good shot at taking that title. Pick the Chiefs. Then you got Cologne.
That's my sister's boyfriend.
Is he actually named Cologne?
Yeah, well, that's his last name. It's just funny that he's up high because he doesn't know a lot of football.
Yeah, look at us. We're all the way at the bottom, and we have the
Yeah, I know.
podcast. Look at us, you guys.
I know.
Anyways, Cologne, he's in 4th, and then you got ESPN fan at 5. Both of those guys have a shot at getting the championship as well, since they picked the 49ers. So we'll see how it all pans out, and we'll post that next week, the final bracket, who won.
Let's go out.
All right, guys, the Super Bowl is finally here. Both teams have battled through adversity. The Chiefs, they got the Swift thing that they got to deal with. The 49ers, they honestly have been pretty damn good, but this playoffs, both games, they've kind of came back from behind. So the 49ers, we both picked a team. Hammer picked the 49ers to break down. So Hammer, what you got?
Yeah, San Fran, powerhouse, kind of been the best team all year. Yeah, they had that 3-game slump in the middle of the year, but they've been able to bounce back from that. Heading into the game, don't really have a bunch of injuries to talk about, really none. Yeah, Kittle didn't practice all week. Trent Williams, that's more rest. Eric Armstead, all those guys are going to be good to go. Nothing about Debo. We know he was banged up heading into that NFC Championship game. He got injured during the Packers game in a divisional round. Nothing on him. Seems like he's going to be good, ready to go, which is good because Debo is that, he's the heart and soul of that Niners offense. They do a lot with him in the backfield, downfield. So, good news for San Fran. Jenks is going to go over the Chiefs. San Fran's definitely the more healthy team heading into this game. And then just kind of looking at the Niners these past 2 games, in the playoffs. Yeah, they had the number 1 seed, so they didn't play wild card weekends. But these past 2 games, if you guys watched last week's episode, I kind of put them as, especially the defense, as underperforming. I thought the Niners underperformed these playoffs. They're not. I don't think they looked like they did during the season. And yeah, they're in the Super Bowl because that's just how good of a team they are. I think when you look at the NFC too, it's so weak. Like when you really think about it,
we've said it all year.
The two teams the Niners had to beat were the 7th seed Green Bay Packers, youngest team ever to make the playoffs, and the Detroit Lions. I get the Lions had a good year, but at the same time, it's the Detroit Lions, right? Like this is their first time being in this position. San Fran's got all the experience, home field advantage, and San Fran got their butts kicked for 2.5 quarters. So I think the Niners have underperformed, especially that defense who was talked about being best defense in the league. That defense, defense line's best in the league with Young, Armstead, Hargrave, Bosa, and I think both games, not Green Bay, but definitely Detroit, they got their butts kicked. Now they're not going against Detroit's offensive line in the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
but it's something to be concerned about, especially with the way, Grayson's going to get into this, but the way Pacheco is running the football, and then of course, you got Patrick Mahomes, leading that offense with Andy Reid, play calling. You know, if I'm a Niners fan, I got the better team. I'm healthier, but I'm a little scared, a little worried for this defense, just because they haven't played to the part. And I said this all along. I don't like going into the year. Yeah, we all know Niners front seven could play. I don't think their secondary could play. I don't. I don't really think. I think number seven. The War. What's his name?
Travarius Ward.
Tre'Davious Ward. Yeah, he's a good player. He could play. The safeties are not very good. The opposite corner's not very good. They lost Hufanga middle of the season. That hurt a lot. They're not a good secondary. And this front seven has been playing good. And, that front seven helps the secondary. So when they're not playing good, now the secondary is really, really, you know, helpless. So it's going to be interesting. Uh, San Fran's definitely the better team, as I've been saying. And it's good. I'm excited to see how Brock Purdy's going to play. I don't really think he's played amazingly in these playoffs, especially towards the end of the games, like against Green Bay and Detroit. He's played awesome. He came from behind both games, mid third quarter, fourth quarter. He's came back late, but to start off both games, he didn't look too good. So I think the key for the Niners is definitely, you know, starting fast. Starting fast. Don't get away from that ground game quick. I think that Shanahan does that a lot. I think he gets away from McCaffrey quick. I guess to save him for the whole game, but they can't do that. They can't do that against this team. Run the ball, chew the clock. You don't want Mahomes on the field. So those are the keys for the Niners. Jenks.
I mean, I'll just speak on it a little bit as well. I mean, Purdy, like you said, like he hasn't came out hot, but he's played well in big moments. And the key is in the second
Exactly.
half through both games, they played well towards that end of the third quarter into the fourth. I know against the line or against the Packers, I think they scored 10 unanswered in the fourth quarter. It might have been 17 even. And then in the Lions game, they scored 27 unanswered before the Lions finally scored as well. So the team, if they're able to start off hot, I think they have a shot in this game. But if they start off slow, I don't think they're going to be able to come back against a team like the Chiefs, like they did against the Packers and Lions. And I think, like you said, that relying on the run is a huge piece for them, because the teams that lost the Chiefs in the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Bills. I mean, the Bills had success in the run. The Dolphins didn't have success anywhere. But then the Ravens, they had success in the run, but they only ran it 6 times. And then they ran with Lamar as well. So the key is, like you said, running the ball. And then total rushing yards against the Chiefs right now is at 339 yards. And really, that's from those last 2 games. There wasn't really anything in the Dolphins game. So you look at those stats, relying on Christian McCaffrey is going to be huge for them. So I'm interested to see what they'll do there. And like I said, the Chiefs, they cruised by the Dolphins. They kind of squeaked by against the Bills, got a little bit lucky with a missed field goal. They probably, who knows, they win in overtime most likely, but still you got to give the benefit of the doubt. Then they won 17-10 over the Ravens in a defensive battle, which people weren't expecting for the Chiefs to going into this season. They weren't expecting a great defense, but by all means, the Chiefs have been a great defense the whole entire season. I believe they're 11 for 37 opposing teams on third down against the Chiefs defense in the playoffs, which is huge. And you look at it, staying on the field for a defense, tiring them out, that's key. And for the Chiefs to get only 11 third down conversions is huge. So they're getting off the field. They're not allowing these long drives. I think that against the Bills, they had a few. The Ravens, there really weren't many at all. They were actually pretty quick drives the whole game. So if their defense is able to hold up against the 49ers, get, one, maybe 2 picks on Brock Purdy and force them to put the ball in Christian McCaffrey's hands, because their secondary is pretty damn good. Ladarius Sneed's been playing great all year. He's been shutting down wide receiver ones. So, I mean, if they're able to force it for Purdy to force or throw the ball into small windows, he's done that a few times this postseason, but if they're able to do it consistently, that he's not going to be able to do that. I think Kittle's going to be an essential piece this game, throwing to the tight ends, as well as Christian McCaffrey in the pass game. So if they're able to shut those two down, I think the Chiefs come out and take the lead. As far as on the offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs, like you said, that key man is going to be Pacheco running the ball. He's been fantastic this whole season with angry runs. Like they've been memes galore of him. The way he runs, it just looks hilarious. But he's running dudes over, and he's not giving up until his knee hits the ground. So I think I like what the Chiefs are doing here. And I think the key is Mahomes doesn't need to do it all. I think a lot of people are coming to this game. Yeah, Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league by far, obviously, and he's up there already in the GOAT conversation. He's not the GOAT yet, but he's in those conversations because of how good he is. But in this game, he doesn't need to do it all. Hand it off, make smart decisions. Even if you go 3 and out a couple times, you're still going to be in this game to the end. I think this game is going to be more of a defensive game than people think. I think kind of like I think it'll be like in the 20s, low 20s, mid 20s. That's kind of what I'm expecting for this game, which isn't bad, but I think it's going to be pretty defensive to the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter. So with that being said, I think I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I've picked against the Chiefs the whole postseason, I'm pretty sure. I've picked against Mahomes, and my time doing that is done. I can't do it anymore. Mahomes has proven me wrong too many times, and the 49ers, yeah, they're good, but they're NFC good, and the AFC is a different breed, and the Chiefs just ran every single top AFC team out of the gym. So I'm the other Chiefs here.
Yeah. All right, so real quick, let's go position by position. Both teams, you're going to tell me who's better. QB,
Yeah, you got to go Patrick Mahomes, easy.
running back,
CMC.
receiver,
Receiver group, easily the 49ers. The Chiefs
sure?
receivers suck. Chiefs
MVS,
receivers
baby.
suck.
Made a big-time catch last week, 2 weeks ago.
He was praying before he made it, but yeah.
Yeah, I
no,
know it
get
was.
him out of here.
Tight ends.
Tight end, that one's a little bit tough. You could say that Kittle's been better.
It's not, though.
Listen, you could say that Kittle's been better, but in the regular season, in the postseason, Kelsey other way. Kelsey's been balling out. One of the playoff greats, if I say so. Anything else?
Offensive line.
Offensive line, a little bit tough as well, but
It's
I like the
tricky.
Chiefs. I like the Chiefs O-line. The running game's there.
Chiefs.
I like
I
it.
don't.
I think Trent Williams kind of carries that 49ers O-line.
Yeah, but Chiefs have their All-Pro guard out. Joe
Okay.
Tooney.
Fully healthy. True. Joe Tooney's likely going to be out. Andy Reid came out and said,
Hey, why are we
yeah,
talking about full healthy? I'm
Sorry,
talking about.
I'm just thinking in general. Yeah, 49ers for this game.
Yeah, San Fran. D-line.
D-line, I'd say 49ers, but they haven't been playing like it in the playoffs, and Chris Jones has been balling out this postseason. So if Chris Jones comes out and balls out, then maybe I go them. But I think the 49ers do in general.
All right, good. I was going to say, I know I've been knocking the San Fran defense line, but still, I mean.
The only thing that hold them down right now is Chase Young. He's kind of their anchor.
Yeah, I know. All right, linebacker.
Linebacker, Fred Warner's over there. You got to go 49ers. Come on.
DBs.
DBs, you got to go the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Shutting down the pass game all year.
Kicker.
Butker. Yeah. You've seen the 49ers, they've drafted their kicker like the Packers did. Drafting kickers is never a good idea, and he hasn't done well for them. So
yeah, Moody's been a little on and off lately. That's not good heading up, up until this game. And finally, head coach.
Head coach. Ooh.
Andy tricky.
Okay. So Andy Reid, one of the all-time greats, right? Like he's up there. Then you look at Kyle Shanahan, he's the guy that everyone wants coaches from right now. That is what's happening. It's either him or McVay. That's it. Those are the two coaching trees that people want to pick from. Nah, no one's looking at the Packers coaching tree yet. Anyways, you got those two coaching trees. So, the two young guys, or you got Andy Reid over here sitting there on the sideline after eating 2 Big Macs, looking huge, looking good, coaching good games. So that's tough. But I kind of want to go Andy Reid based off experience in the Super Bowl.
I think, you got to go Andy Reid. All right,
Yeah,
so basically, Kansas City just won QB, tight end, DB, kicker, coach. So, as we know, San Fran's clearly the better team. But like Jake said, my pick, this is tough. Honestly, I would like San Fran to win. Why not? See something new. Be a pretty cool story for Brock Purdy, 7th round pick.
Your dad would be hype, right?
My dad would be pretty happy, man. But if I had to pick, I'm going to go Kansas City too. I think I just trust them more. I'm more experienced, and Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid,
I'm saying
Travis Kelce.
And I think the key,
their defense. Their defense has been really, really good this year.
Yeah,
a lot of
it's an unspoken hero. It really is.
A lot of people say that Chiefs defense, the defense side of the football is better than the offense side of football. Like Mahomes with that receiving core, that's not so great. It's just been playing catch up and just playing safe, because that defense is playing really good.
Michael Thomas is coming soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see. But I'm gonna go Kansas City as well. But I think, like you said, this is gonna be a really good game. I think it's gonna be in the 20s. I don't see it being high scoring, and I don't see it being a blowout. Really,
I, re-
don't.
I think it would be tough for it to be a blowout. I think Brock Purdy has to throw a couple picks, maybe one being a pick six. But I agree. I think it's a close game, and I think one thing like we've talked about all year, and you said it as well, is the NFC is just so much weaker than the AFC, and the 49ers, yeah, they had a couple rough games, but they barely beat the Lions, who got blown out by the Ravens, and the Chiefs just beat them 17-10.
Yeah,
Like they made the Ravens offense look terrible. Lions Lions defense made the Ravens look great, and the 49ers made the Lions look all right. Actually better than all right until that second half, but it's a tough game to pick, but I got to go Chiefs with Mahomes. So you can't pick against them right now.
yeah, definitely. All right, so that's gonna do it for Super Bowl picks, keys of the game. We're gonna be just real quick talking about Dan Quinn to the Commanders and off-season format for this show.
All right, guys. So Dan Quinn has signed on as the head coach for the Commanders, and Cliff Kingsbury has been brought over with him. He signed as well. He was going to go to the Raiders, and then he kind of backed out last second. A little bit of a shocker there. So right now, the big talk is Commanders. Could they be going after Caleb Williams? And I mean, I think yeah, they could be, but at the same time, I don't know if it's worth going up to that number one spot, giving up what they're gonna have to give away. What, a first rounder this year, which is their second, a first rounder next year, and then however many additional picks that the Bears are going to declare they want, or however many players. So I think it's a tough decision. But if who knows, maybe the Bears go something random, they trade out to a different team, and that team doesn't pick Caleb Williams. We never know. We talked about it last year. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, the first pick. Like we thought it was clear that it was going to be like C.J. Stroud, and then Bryce Young got picked. So it's kind of tough when you come into this conversation, but the big moral of the story is just Dan Quinn. Like, what do we think of that head coaching? And I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of it. Hammer, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Other thing you got to keep in mind too is Dan Quinn wasn't the first choice, right? It was Ben
Mm-hmm.
Johnson. He didn't want to come over because Magic Johnson now and a couple other guys are the owners of the Commanders, and he doesn't really trust that ownership. Basketball led kind of mindset's really different. NBA and NFL are really different kind of approaches to ownership and GMing, this and that. And that kind of scared Ben Johnson away. And I think when you're a young coordinator like he is, and he's in a good situation like Detroit, I think you got to wait for the right spot to open up. And I don't think the jobs this year were that attractive. Seattle and the Commanders, like those are the two top jobs, kind of. Like especially, um, he was still in the playoffs coaching, so a lot of head coaching jobs got filled, and those were the only two remaining. And just looking at those, they weren't that attractive. So kind of wait your turn. Dan Quinn, not a fan. I don't think he's there very long. Probably 2-3 years
It's a
max.
rental. Yeah,
He's out.
rental for sure.
I don't think he's head coach. I think he's a good defensive coordinator. And yeah, Kingsbury is pretty interesting. At first I'm like, why would he leave the Raiders? You got, Devontae Adams. All signs indicate they're going to re-sign Josh Jacobs. Las Vegas, little. I probably want to live there more than Washington. But
Hey man, Washington's not that bad. It's not that bad. All right. You've never even been. You've never even been. I'll take you. You come down here during March. I'll show you the cherry blossoms, man. They're
ooh,
beautiful.
can't
They're
wait. Can't
beautiful.
wait. Can't wait. But I mean, Kingsbury. But yeah, it's attractive. But the Commanders were a more attractive spot because of that number 2 overall pick. Simple as that. They have an opportunity to go get a franchise quarterback, and maybe they could get, his former player Caleb Williams. That would be really interesting. In order for that to happen, I think the Bears first have to make that decision about Justin Fields. Is he our guy? Is he not? And then after that, we'll explore some trade possibilities. But yeah, really interesting move.
Yeah, and I think Dan Quinn, like you said, he's not a great head coach. I think he's a better defensive coordinator than he is head coach. I mean, he went what 34, 33, 34 and 33, something like that on the Falcons over however many years he was there, and they weren't ever doing anything great. And I think when you look at it, his last performance being the defense being terrible against the Packers, it's not something that looks great on a resume. But take that how it is. And I think the Commanders need to turn it around. I thought they were going to go offensive minded for sure, just because their defense was bad with a defensive coach. So I think maybe you just commit to the offense and let the defense kind of get turned around by a good defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I think
But I mean, landing an OC like Kingsbury kind of makes up for it,
yeah, it does for sure. I think the thing is like they have the pieces to be a good offense. They have good receivers. I mean, Sam Howell wasn't he was pretty bad, but he wasn't awful last year. I just think that they were throwing the ball way too much for a team that had a garbage O-line. They was getting sacked way too much, and he was throwing the ball maybe 40 times every single game when he didn't need to. They had good running backs. Brian Robinson Jr.'s doing pretty well. Antonio Gibson was doing well. I was surprised they were throwing the ball as much as they were, and they weren't throwing it all the time to Terry McLaurin. Like he wasn't. I don't know if he wasn't getting open. I was watching all the Commanders games, so I think it was a surprising move for them to also fire Eric Bienemy. He's just a free agent now. So how bad of a job do you have to do as Eric Bienemy to not get a head coaching job, however many years now? Um, Andy Reid's came out and said that yeah, he's going to have a good head coaching future, but let's be realistic. How you gotta get a head coaching job or something by now. I mean, it's a free agent. No one even wants him for the offensive coordinator positions that are open. So it's a tough spot for him. I think he'll land on his feet, but I don't know how. I don't think he's ever going to be a head coach. But
No, I don't think so either. Bold prediction. I think he heads back to Kansas City. One more thing I just want to point out. Raiders, yeah, they didn't land Kingsbury, but they signed Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco to be their receivers coach. So that's going to be a pretty fun tandem over there
really, wait, when did that happen?
today.
Really, I didn't even see that. I was busy with class.
So that's going to be a pretty fun tandem with him and Devontae Adams. We know how much he loves Devontae Adams. He broke down crying watching his tape a couple of times. He posted on Twitter and Instagram. That's going to be fun. And then a little quick just preview. After this week going forward, we're going to be posting episodes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays will be a draft report day, kind of scouting each week. On Tuesdays, we are going to be breaking down the top 8, top 10 guys in this position group. So next week will be interior offensive linemen. After that will be defense linemen. We'll go back and forth offense, defense until the draft. The last Tuesday episode before the draft will be quarterbacks. That Thursday mock draft, and Thursday night draft. And then next week we're breaking down the draft. So that's kind of the format. And then Thursdays we're gonna have special guests on. News, if there's any news, talk about that. Hot takes, get into it a little bit. But that's gonna kind of the format's gonna be for the next 3 months, and after that it's gonna change a little bit. But just letting you guys know. And Jenks, closing thoughts heading into the Super Bowl.
I mean, if you told me it was going to be Chiefs 49ers midway through the season, I would have doubted it a little bit. But once we got to the end of the year and through these playoffs, I wouldn't have been able to argue it at all. I mean, the Chiefs look awesome on defense. They really do. 49ers, they were easily the number one NFC team the whole entire year. There was no argument there at all. And I think Chiefs fans, yeah, they're going to be a little bit more miserable if they win this game. Yeah, we're going to suffer for a little while with Chiefs fans, but I think the Chiefs do win. I think the 49ers fans, you're right there, but you're not insane yet. I don't know. I don't know if it's Purdy. I don't know what it is, but I just don't know if you're a Super Bowl winning team. That being said, though, I'm excited for the future that we have. Where our goal is to get some NFL guests on in the future over these next few weeks, few months. That's our goal. And maybe once the finals start, or once the playoffs start in the NBA, we'll talk a little bit of NBA as well. I'll try to go see some more movies, do some movie reviews when it's dead on the NFL topics.
We're looking forward to that, baby.
Hell yeah, Jenks
Nothing's
special.
than a Grayson Jenkins closeout film review.
Yeah, nothing good yet though this year. I know Argyle came out this week. I want to go see that. Then we got Dune. I'm not going to see that. I'm not a Dune guy. And then big movies in the summer though. Deadpool 3. That's gonna. I might just have to do a 15-minute special Jenks review of Deadpool. But who knows? I don't know. I'm kind of rambling now. Hammer, you can finish it out.
Yeah, I think we all just hope that it's a good game. No one wants to see a blowout. Hope it's a good game. No injuries. And I got the Chiefs winning. Be a good game because this is the last NFL game till September. It's a long time. It's
Way too long season, man. You look at other sports. God, it feels like it's yesterday that the MLB ended, and it's already about to start.
I know. These next 3 months will keep you busy with free agency, combine, the draft, and then after that, it's a little dead period till training camp. But before you know it, it's gonna be back, and we're gonna be giving you guys a week 1 picks. But with that being said, we hope you guys have an awesome weekends. whoever you're watching the game with, enjoy good food, hopefully, good game. Hopefully your team wins. And make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at JankSummerPod. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube at Jake Summer Podcast. If you want to watch it on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment your Super Bowl pick. We are going to see you guys on Tuesday for our first episode of our draft reports. Let's get into it.
Big boys. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast. Remember to leave a review and follow all of our social media pages at Jenks Hammer Pod for more content. Until next time, who dat and go Pack Go!